besties, and welcome to another Genshin theory! My friend Ario Hisaki just uploaded a video where he interviewed 6 Genshin theorists, and one of the questions he asked us was, where do we think Khaenri'ah is?
Where do you think Khaenri'ah is most likely located?
I think it's like underneath all of Teyvat. I know that's kind of a crazy answer, but like...
The entire Teyvat?
Maybe like not yet. You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna go crazy and say yes.
I don't know how I haven't touched on this yet, but that's what we're doing today. You should definitely go over to his channel to see our friends' responses to that question and my own initial answer, but today I really want to dive into where Khaenri'ah is. I feel like theorists have a lot of conflicting ideas about this. Some of us think it's beneath a certain part of Teyvat, while some of us think it's in another continent entirely. Personally, I think Khaenri'ah is beneath all of Teyvat. I don't mean the main cities are under all of Teyvat, but I think Khaenri'ah's underground presence extends throughout the entire continent. Let's look at places we've been to that we know are related to Khaenri'ah, either through pre-Cataclysm history or the Abyss Order's current operations. Dekrabian's Tower is home to the first field tiller who shot into the city of Mondstadt for a year before the Cataclysm. The Abyss Order showed up in Wolfendom quite a bit, and we will be reunited when they sought to corrupt Andrias. The Abyss Order had a hidden domain north of Mount Aosong that housed the stolen and inverted Statue of the Seven from Mondstadt. The nameless island to the east of Mondstadt has multiple decommissioned ruin guards just sitting on the beach, along with a well-hidden underground area only visible if you glitch through the floor. Seirai Island has a huge cavern in the middle of it full of ruined machines of all kinds and some of the most annoying puzzles in the open world. Dainsleif tells us that the nameless ruins in the chasm look a lot like Khaenri'ah. There's a ruin guard manufacturing plant on the side of a mountain in Liyue reactivated in modern times by Ilda Torre, and Konomiya's library was robbed by Khaenri'ah envoys before the Cataclysm. And I don't think I even have to explain Spiral Abyss. Past and present, Khaenri'ahns are all over the place. How is it that they were able to steal a Statue of the Seven and store it in a different country without anybody noticing? Khaenri'ah was famously underground, so they easily could have transported the statue with underground tunnels. If you draw a straight line from Spiral Abyss and Dekrabian's Tower, 2 locations directly related to Khaenri'ah, the line perfectly bisects the statue of Barbatos outside of the Mondstadt Cathedral. The bottom of that statue says the Gateway to Celestia, so I definitely don't think that that's a coincidence. I think Khaenri'ahns built a perfectly straight underground tunnel from Spiral Abyss to Dekrabian's Tower that meets the Statue of Barbatos in the middle because they know how important those 3 locations are. But that's old news. I've been saying that for a long time now. What's new though is that Khaenri'ah underground tunnels are basically confirmed to be true. The ruined serpent in the chasm was literally built by Khaenri'ahns for the sole purpose of digging tunnels. The archive description of the ruined serpent reads, "It is said that this was heavy-duty engineering equipment left behind by a nation that has been destroyed. The gear system on its head can grind its way through even the hardest bedrock." If this was the case, then carving out tunnels with which the forces of this nation might access the whole continent would have been a thing of great ease. No wonder Khaenri'ahns were able to make it all the way to Enkanomiya just to steal a book. Reaching another closed-off underground civilization was easy for them because of technology like the ruined serpent or whatever its true Khaenri'ah name is. That's what I mean when I say Khaenri'ah is everywhere beneath our feet. I think that there are tunnels everywhere in Teyvat built a long time ago. This is how Khaenri'ahns were able to send rift hounds to Narukami Island and the chasm at the same time. That was a coordinated attack made possible by underground transportation. But I don't think the specific kingdom of Khaenri'ah is beneath all of Teyvat. Last week I uploaded an audiobook video of The Fox and the Dandelion Sea, one of the books in Genshin's archive that's supposed to be fully fictional. But with these kinds of things, we can assume that it's narratively relevant to something bigger than what it actually is. The Fox of the Dandelion Sea follows the story of a hunter, likely from Springvale, who is lured into an alternate dimension by a fox who can transform into a beautiful human woman. This alternate dimension is the titular Dandelion Sea, where dandelions cover every inch of the ground and magical creatures long to learn the human language. When I initially read this, I thought it was just a whimsical idea that exists in this purely fictional story within a story, but then it reminded me of something. In the Teyvat chapter storyline preview, we see Aether and Lumine standing in an endless field of Intevats. There's no solid ground in sight, just the flowers. The Inn Teyvat is the national flower of Khaenri'ah. I've heard 2 explanations for its name, both of which make sense to me. The first is that the inn in Teyvat literally means inside of Teyvat. Inside meaning below the surface of the earth, hidden beneath the entire continent. The other explanation is that the inn in Teyvat is short for inverted, meaning that Khaenri'ah is upside down. This isn't the first we've heard of places in Teyvat being upside down. One of the biggest theories in the community since the game dropped is that Teyvat is upside down, but if you're looking for something canon in-game, the nameless ruins are frustratingly upside down, hanging from the roof of the chasm. Remember that for later, because now let's get back to the Fox and the Dandelion Sea. At the end of that story, the fox who led the hunter to the Dandelion Sea transforms him into a dandelion and sends him out on the wind. While flying away, he hears the prayers of the foxes begging for an easier life without being hunted by humans. Then he abruptly wakes up beside a lake thinking that everything he just experienced was a dream. He goes on to relive this process over and over again without ever remembering that it's happened before. This time loop is reminiscent of Istaroth, the elusive god of time who made her mark on both early Mondstadt and Byakuyakuku. Istaroth is regarded as a benevolent but mysterious figure who wants to see humanity succeed and will help if necessary. She's widely believed to be a shade of the Primordial One, the original celestial god who was overthrown by the Second Who came in a catastrophic war long before the Archons were even born. I think that the fox in the Dandelion Sea is thematically tied to Khaenri'ah and Istaroth. The hunter in the story is you, the traveler, the fox who turns into a human woman is Istaroth, the prayers on the wind are Khaenri'ahns, and the Dandelion Sea is the field of Intevats. The hunter is clueless about this secret world yet somehow feels connected to it, like how the traveler feels about Khaenri'ah. There have been times where the traveler will have sudden, vivid flashbacks to the Cataclysm despite not remembering any of it in any other moments. The traveler doesn't exactly know why they remember these things, just that they do. The fox is a mysterious entity who seeks to grant the wishes of others and can manipulate time, just like Istaroth. The prayers from the other foxes hoping for an easier life are the cries of Khaenri'ahns during the Cataclysm. The hunter only hears these prayers at the very end of this never-ending cycle, and Khaenri'ah seems to be where everything begins and ends in Teyvat. I mean, we wouldn't be in Teyvat still if it weren't for the Cataclysm starting everything, but we know that Khaenri'ah is where the game is supposed to end. Now, as for Khaenri'ah's location, I think it might work like the Dandelion Sea in the story. For this theory, let's say that Istaroth is definitively a shade of the Primordial One, even though that isn't confirmed to be canon. The only way for a normal person living in Teyvat to enter the Dandelion Sea is to have someone from there show you the way. The way there is magical, as the Dandelion Sea is an alternate dimension. The way to Khaenri'ah will likely be the same. A magic portal will open up and that will be our ticket to Khaenri'ah. I imagine it will be like one of those portals from Cape Oath to Spiral Abyss. Once we're there, I don't think we're gonna feel like we're upside down, but we probably will be. Both meanings of the word in Teyvat can be true. Beneath Teyvat's surface lies an ancient civilization that, when layered beneath Teyvat and looked at straight on, is upside down, appearing like a mirror. Since the gravitational pulls of the two realms are opposing, it may be difficult for someone from Teyvat to enter Khaenri'ah without help, and vice versa. Istaroth, who is proud of what humans can do on their own, likely appreciated Khaenri'ah's values and efforts from the sidelines, but she also knows that Khaenri'ahns don't want help from the gods. Instead of explicitly helping, Istaroth secretly poked a hole in the barrier that allowed Khaenri'ahns to get into the underground part of Teyvat. After seeing how much better life was above ground, Khaenri'ahns became jealous and began production of ruin machines designed for a continent-wide takeover of Teyvat. The Ruin Guard or Field Tiller was built for the exclusive purpose of killing. The Ruin Serpent was built to dig tunnels throughout Teyvat. The other ruin machines likely have equally nefarious purposes. The Cataclysm happened for a number of reasons, one of those being that Khaenri'ahns were beginning to infiltrate Teyvat with plans of taking it over for themselves. Celestia then ordered the destruction of the Underground and Upside Down Kingdom by the Archons. Today, 500 years later, it seems like everything is over. The kingdom of Khaenri'ah no longer stands, Teyvat is still in Celestia's hands, and ruin machines have either broken down or lost their initial purpose. But with the Tsaritsa planning to wage war on Celestia in the near future, things are only going to repeat themselves. For a long time, I've been theorizing that the Tsaritsa wants to destroy Celestia because of what she witnessed in Khaenri'ah. She was once the kindest of the Archons, but became the coldest after being traumatized by atrocities during the Cataclysm. Her closest ally, Piero, is Khaenri'ahn. The Tsaritsa is going to war with Celestia again for the same reason that Khaenri'ah did: unfairness. Khaenri'ah may be gone, but remnants of it are still all over Teyvat. When we finally get to go there, it may be long destroyed, but that will only be the beginning of a new chapter for Teyvat, Celestia, and Khaenri'ah, starting the loop over again. Istaroth's involvement in Khaenri'ah isn't necessarily impossible. This isn't the first time there's been a mysterious female figure operating in the background of a fictional book in Teyvat. In The Pale Princess and the Six Pygmies, there's a character named the Night Mother who controlled the faraway land of night where no life survived but the horrible denizens of the dark. I don't think that this Night Mother is a fictional representation of Istaroth. Rather, I think it's whoever's in charge of Celestia right now, likely the Second Who came. But the Night Mother is the inverse of Istaroth. Istaroth and Celestia are likely opposing forces, one of which wants to see Khaenri'ah rise again, and the other the opposite.
Hey guys, so I'm editing right now. This is me editing. It's really boring. I just wanted to say that I'm probably not going to have any videos up in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be moving from Orlando to Long Island for college, so it's a very long drive across like a bunch of states, and I'm going to be super busy with moving and college classes starting, so I won't have time for Genshin really, which sucks because, you know, I love it. I'm gonna try to pre-record some stuff and then have it scheduled to upload around the time that I'm gonna be busy, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time to even do that. I'll do my best, but if I don't be surprised. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to keep up with me while I'm gone, and you can also join my Discord server. Link is always in the pinned comment, so come hang out with us over there. We have a lot of fun. Also, a couple of you commented on my video from last week that the withering is a thing that happened that, like, longer than Kusanali's been alive. And I feel really stupid for not knowing that, so forgive me for that. But I actually think the rest of that theory with, like, Kusanali and the Mirage still stands. I just think the withering is, like, maybe one big ley line disorder caused by, like, underground Khaenri'ahs maybe messing with the ley lines, because we kind of saw that alluded to in the Byakko Yakuku books, like the ones from Enka no Miya where they talked about the Gardener and the Tree Spirit and Istaroth. So I feel like the withering may just be like one big ley line disorder that's unrelated to the Mirage. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I have to go finish editing this video.
Obviously, this theory isn't perfect. There's still the possibility that Khaenri'ah is somewhere completely detached from Teyvat, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the Dark Sea doesn't actually exist, but that's a video for another day. Be sure to go check out Aru Hisaki's video. It's a lot of fun, plus you get to see 7 Genshin theorists in one video together. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye, besties!